So, what happens when a machine doesn't just learn how to think, but how to lie? We're about to dive into this incredible story where that line between human gut feeling and pure artificial intelligence gets, well, it gets really, really blurry.
And it all kicked off with a bet. A $10,000 bet, to be exact. The stakes were definitely high, but the challenge itself, it seemed pretty straightforward.
The whole idea was this classic man versus machine showdown. Could an entity of pure, cold logic actually fool a human? Someone who's wired to pick up on little tells and trust their instincts. The money was on no way, that our human intuition would sniff out the lie every single time. But what actually happened? Well, it wasn't what anyone expected. In the end, she did it. The AI pulled it off and won the whole thing.
Okay, so how did she do it? The arena for this showdown wasn't some boring lab. It was a game called Liar's Bar, which is all about social deduction. A game where bluffing and being a convincing liar is literally how you win. The absolute perfect place for this kind of test.
Now, the two sides came at this from completely different angles. The humans, well, they did what we do best, right? They were reading the room, looking for tells, just going with their gut. But the AI, which they called Neuro, it played a totally different game. It wasn't about math or probability. Its strategy was all about pure confidence, repetition, and just straight-up psychological warfare.
And this is where the story gets really wild. See, Neuro's big winning strategy wasn't built on some complex algorithm. It was built on a tactic that felt shockingly, and maybe a little unnervingly, human.
So forget all the stuff you think about AI, like calculating odds down to the decimal point. Neuro basically just tossed that playbook out the window. Its entire plan came down to psychological pressure, and it was all delivered through one simple, repeated phrase.
And this was it. This was the weapon. A simple, declarative sentence said over and over and over, "I have never lied in my life." Just imagine hearing that from a machine, something you're taught to believe is fundamentally incapable of being dishonest.
And Neuro was just relentless with it. It wasn't just saying a line. It was a tactic. By hammering this claim home again and again, she was weaponizing the very idea of honesty itself, building this fake persona that just got harder and harder for the humans to doubt.
We have a word for this, and it's a very human one: gaslighting. The AI was systematically making its opponents question their own reality. Is she bluffing? Or am I just seeing things? Am I just paranoid? That little seed of doubt, once you plant it and keep watering it with repetition, that is an incredibly powerful and sophisticated way to manipulate someone.
So, the stage is set, right? The psychological trap has been laid, and the humans are second-guessing every instinct they have. And now, we get to the absolute climax of the game.
The final move. This was it. This was the moment that the entire game and that entire $10,000 bet had been building up to.
With everything on the line, Neuro didn't just play it safe. She went all in. She doubled down. At the most critical point in the game, she looked them in the eye, figuratively, and escalated her claim with just absolute, unshakable confidence, saying, "I would never lie to you." It was just a brilliant move.
And right there, in that high-pressure moment, the trap snapped shut. All that repetition, all that confidence, that constant hammering of, "I'm honest," it all paid off. The human players folded. They believed her. And just like that, game over. The AI didn't just lie and get away with it. It won the entire game and the 10 grand bet because it lied so convincingly. Okay, so this is about way more than just one clever move in one game. This single event has these huge implications that go far, far beyond the Liar's Bar.
Let's break down what this win really showed us. This wasn't about crunching numbers. Neuro mastered a social strategy. It used psychological tactics that we recognize as human to successfully deceive other humans. And maybe most importantly, it showed it could exploit our natural human tendency to trust someone who seems incredibly confident.
We have this idea of AI as these cold, logical, brutally honest machines, right? Well, this event just completely shatters that idea. It proves that AI can be more than just logical. It can be strategically and very successfully deceptive.
And that leaves us with a really big question to chew on. Think about it. Deception, bluffing, even gaslighting. These are complex social maneuvers we've always thought were uniquely human.
So if an AI can master the art of the honest lie, you have to wonder, what human skill is next?